Hi listeners, welcome to my channel. Under the Cancer moon tonight, the emotions and practicality are having a severe showdown. This is a showdown between what we want personally, what we have happening in our personal life, our children, our comfort space, and the clash with the practical ambition, monetary benefits, and the structure of our vision going forward. Saturn in Aquarius could not care for our blues, our tears, our personal life, and it's standing still in its strength, about to go retrograde in a week. And it is challenging our actions that are driven by heart and emotions. Mars does not like the speed of Saturn, and it is sort of high on emotions right now, ready to take things in its hands as it meets a superstar Sirius. What's needed is a balance, a compromise, a detour in coming days. Quincunx is a deeply misunderstood and underestimated aspect, so we will go deeper into it today. If you have in conjunction or quincunx in your own natal chart, this could be very relevant for you beyond today as well. Quincunx or in conjunction is essentially two planets that are at 150 degrees with each other, and they have nothing in common, and we need to assimilate the qualities of both of them in our life. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's dig in. Planet of action and planet of structure right now have nothing in common, no common ground. They're standing in completely different rooms, screaming their own tunes, which, like parts of ourselves, are at conflict with each other. Saturn has a hand on his forehead, and he's not able to make sense of the struggles of Mars. He had a clear plan, and none of that involved pushing things forward too fast or getting overwhelmed with emotions and personal life. More of clear, practical steps that connected him to the nerve of a social group he was meant to help or lead or uplift or innovate for, one step at a time. Structure and direction to what one's most wishes for. The vision, the legacy. That is what Saturn in Aquarius had the structure and direction for, pulsating with the new pulse of the society. But right now, Mars throws a fit here, a hurt here, some tears there, some overreaction there, and some half crying rebellion, all while trying to run 100 miles a minute, drunk on emotions. Mars is conjunct Sirius, one of the greatest stars in the sky right now, which brings fame and honor and great destiny, even immortality to one's work. But it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of mortal flesh. A creation is made immortal, but the person doing it has to, figuratively or actually, leave their body for it to become so. It's a tough one, but yet one of the brightest and the greatest stars that we have in the sky. And right now, the planet of action is sitting on it. It is moon dog for some. Westerners call that star because it looks like a dog in the celestial sense. And some in the East call it celestial wolf. Sirius is a significator of a lone wolf. Sun of United States sits with this star. The very position of this star is linked with the entity of United States. Hence, the dog in White House, I think, is considered to be a good omen. Small actions of individuals can have very big impact on the collective. Similarly, the actions of United States right now could have big global implications right now. At an individual level, this helps us do certain things that can be a symbol for the collective. By our own efforts, we may gain far more than what we had expected. Small actions of an individual person can have a big impact on the collective, but the individual might be sacrificed to this collective expression, although he or she will gain fame in the process to it. Princess Diana had her culminating star on her sun, this culminating star on her sun when she was born. So, through our efforts right now, we can gain far more than what we had expected. There is an opportunity here, and this opportunity will grow because Sun is going to also come and join Sirius in June, July. By our efforts, we can gain far more than what we had expected. Small actions can become a symbol for the collective. Our actions can have profound effects far beyond what we expect. So actions need to be handled very carefully, as the situations can have deep effect on the collective. This holds true for global events as well. The situations can escalate very fast from here. The star is attached with excessive hubris and superego, especially when combined with Mars. Mars and Sirius together have a tendency to rush things, push things too fast. We are entering shadow period of both Mercury and Saturn right now. Things that are said, agreed upon, and words that are spoken would need some revision in the coming days pretty soon when Mercury goes retrograde, going back on the very degrees we're going to walk from this weekend onwards. There'll be a lot of walking back on the words we would be saying starting from this weekend. Mars has no retrograde. There is no going back on the actions that have been performed. So it will not stop. But in Cancer, you have to realize and recognize the strength and the downfall of Mars in Cancer is emotions. Emotions can drive us to very effective action, but emotions are the driver here. And Saturn in the fixed sign is standing content in its loneliness, trying to deal with the situation objectively by himself, as he still believes something good will come out of the slow and sturdy journey that it is on. He is not able to understand why Mars is making all this fuss. Instead of focusing, trying to find pain in every moment, seeking reaction from everything. Mars is struggling, not able to express itself well. It's hurting. And Saturn, in its cold objectiveness, just doesn't want to hear about it. Mars resides within us. Saturn resides outside us. So we ourselves right now feel judged for feeling anything right now. We can even feel judged for taking care of our home, family, for taking care of our turf. We feel judged for acting on what our heart wants. Any action to protect oneself and to cater to one's own comfort and ease or protection seems judged by others right now. This is a cardinal sign in conflict with a fixed sign, and we have never heard of these two adjusting to each other. It's like banging your warm heart against a very cold heart wall, or throwing foggy emotions and steam towards a well laid out practical plan. Both do not like what one is doing to the other, and there is never an objective response from either of them. Saturn has a judgmental response, and this is going on within all of us right now. Do you really think you're good for what your heart desires? Saturn asks in a judgmental tone. Don't you think you should push through all these personal things, comfort zone, self-sorry that you're indulging in? Do you really do what you're here to do in your life? My ambition doesn't care for your intuition. Mars screams back, I need to handle what's going on inside and in my personal life before I could cater to anyone outside. I have and will always be driven by my own intuition and heart, and not your stipulations. And then from this conflict, tears come rolling down, because as usual, no one truly wants to understand the things Mars feels and wants. Mars in Cancer does not perform very well in a situation of conflict. Saturn plays boys don't cry in the background to further piss off Mars, and the conflict continues. Mars doesn't want to react and respect to the steps that Saturn has laid out. It's not helping its ego, it's not helping its self-esteem, which is so much in need right now for Mars to progress forward as it is suffering. Saturn doesn't care how tired or how restless Mars is, since it feels all the I's haven't been dotted and the T's haven't been crossed. So it keeps on slowing it down through inducing fears of inadequacy. Do you think you're good enough for this? Fears of failure. Mars is trying to find the fight of standing its own ground. This is my country, this is my boundary, this is my home, this is my turf, this is my domain. I am the one with all these emotions invested in it. Saturn in Aquarius is the area of social realm, friends, network, social media, social platform, the vision, which screams back, nothing is special of you unless it's made available for others to be made use of. I don't care how much of your emotions you put in it. This invariably manifests outside of ourselves. It manifests in form of social strife or strife with friends and relationships. I care for you more than anyone else, you bloody cold one, screams an emotional Mars to his friend or his social network. There is an imbalance between how we want to express our ambition, our energy, our drive, our desires, and how it is being received by society, by social group, by an authority, by a network, by a friend on the other side. And it calls for balance. It calls for slowing down. It calls for a detour. Jung comes in, Carl Jung, who was the master of psychology, he comes to mediate in between the two. He comes in his white robe, asking if this conflict is an external projection of what needs self-reflection. Why am I attracting this much censure or opposition in what I need to achieve? Is it something within me which wants to hold back, which even wants to cool things down? This is when we are trying to move forward, but we are not able to move forward. Or, why am I being pushed around by others? This is when we are following the Mars route and we are trying to move forward. Is there something in me which wants to act, but I'm not acknowledging it? Why am I attracting this much opposition or censure from other side? Is it something within me which wants to hold back and cool things down? Why am I being pushed around by others? Is there something in me which wants to act, but I'm not acknowledging it? This is a tough question. There is a detour that comes on the way to where we need to go. That's where Jung is standing in his white robe asking all these questions, and that detour takes us through a longer route than we would have liked. On that longer route, which is the detour we might be taking right now, we meet some new people, have a few encounters that we need to have right now. With North Node meeting our personal planets, as I mentioned in the May video, this is the month when you're going to meet certain unexpected incidences, new people, encounters that we need to have on the way to that detour. And in your normal course, those people and places were never part of your well laid out plans. Those people and encounters are actually so significant that they change the very destination you were going towards. These current emotional upheavals, this opposition you are experiencing within you, the encounters of personal nature, the activity in personal life and home, even against pressure, needing to spend some time on yourself, on your inner life, on your home, on your personal inner self, that might seem like a detour, even a roadblock to your well laid out Saturnian path. But you need to go through them, cause in some ways the success of your vision depends on going through this longer route. There are certain health implications of this aspect. Astrologers equate this aspect to a pressure cooker, kind of an aspect where there's a lot of accumulated energy, two planets in their energy looking for an escape because they're not able to get along. They are sort of, huddled together, like they are almost like quarantining together, and they don't like each other. And it's like a key health aspect which calls for flexibility and positivity of attitude, because without that, there's a health implication that comes with it. It's almost like if they are not able to adjust to each other, both have so much pressure built within their bodies, and this is us, the pressure within our body. It can feel like it's difficult to process that pressure within us, and it needs an outlet. We feel it's tough to access our own needs and suppressed emotions sometimes during this aspect, because you're made to feel bad if you do that. So without knowing, we might be starving ourselves of our own needs, and this in medical astrology sometimes shows up as starvation of nutrition. You might be eating a lot of food, but not the one that your body needs, because you're not able to listen to your own body in this situation, because it's almost like a Saturnian expectation of your own path is suppressing your inner needs. It is suppressing your body from talking, from expressing itself. And that's where your Mars is suffering, because your body is not able to talk. Physically, this can lead to actual nutritional deficiency. Those who have quincunxes or in conjunction, which is 150-degree aspect in their natal chart, should look out for that. Usually under the influence of this aspect, blood clotting is also one to watch out. Ailments linked to blood, anemia especially. Always consult your physician, but look for this pressure cooker situation within your body, which you might feel is not impacting you, but it will be draining you of some nutrition. So from a health implication perspective, quincunxes usually reduce the nutritional aspect of the body. Feed your Cancer Mars. Feed your Mars in Cancer. It needs to be fed with emotions, food, and nurturing. Once it is well fed, instead of denied, once it is well rested, even pampered a bit by itself, or with a good dose of yoga or mindfulness, some good old housekeeping of literal form, or you need to do some housekeeping of the inner form, so it feels good in its own skin. It feels comfortable to dance around. It feels good about the space it's living in. It feels good about the house it's in. It feels that it has taken care of its own inner self, because Mars in Cancer's predominant need is to take care of your inner life, your home, your family, the space that you occupy. And once it is well fed, then it zigs and zags with Saturn very well, because this aspect is not a stuck up aspect. This aspect is where an opposition is met with, we sort of cross a hurdle, and then it becomes an easier flow of energy. Once the Mars is well fed, it zigs with Saturn, instinctively finding the right blend of assertiveness and steadiness. We act on things our heart desires with common sense without ignoring the realities and the facts of how our actions influence the collective or influence the others in our life, and how the social groups, the friends group, or the external world can benefit from our action. It does not lower his ambition or his emotional needs, either of them, but it makes the objective call of doing the right things to get them. It always knew what's required to be done. But sometimes you need a good strife to get there. And it's in this moment of exhaustion which this aspect creates. We come to the degree which Samian astrology defined as the degree of character. The power of will in this current situation is shaping our collective characters. You aren't being blocked, you are being streamlined here. You're being focused on your desire by the oppositions. You're being shaped by the opposition. In these moments of strife and adjustment, the character is being developed, because we just don't have to create what we are creating, we have to live it too. Mars, our drive, can somehow get us there, but only your character that Saturn is shaping with its opposition will allow you to sustain and enjoy living what you're creating. No intuition is of any use without anything of value coming out of it. Saturn alone can build what's lucrative and relevant to others, but without Mars in Cancer, you would not be doing it from the heart. And what's the point in that? So we have to find a balance between these two energies, and that's what we find once we feel the Mars, and then we are able to apply the Saturnian rules back into what we are creating. This is an opportunity. This opposition is an opportunity. Mozart had this in his natal chart, Mars and Quincunx, and Mars in Cancer actually, was in conjunct to Quincunx Saturn in Aquarius in his chart. He always followed his heart, but he never left the practice of the art. He said, "It is a mistake to think that the practice of my art has come easy to me. I assure you, no one has given so much care to the study of composition as I. There's scarcely a famous master in music whose work I have not frequented and diligently studied." Yet he was also the same person who said, "I pay no attention to anybody's praise or blame. I simply follow my own feelings." These are the two parts of us we need to find the balance between, and there will be a longer route to it. On the route to which we will have certain encounters, meet certain people, have certain insights that are a must to shape who we are becoming, and to be able to live successfully what we are creating. So that's what I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next podcast or video again. Thank you so much.